Okay, so I'm going to start out before we get into the lecture material, just some formatting tips on the control charts, okay? Now you see the finished result. If you go into the control chart page, you see all of your tabs and so on. And so you have these a tab with your login down at the bottom, your initials, and so you're building your data table this week, starting to put the data in there. And so there's a good example on the very first one. You can just format it that way, but I want to show you some of the ways if you try to get creative that it's okay. It's your data, it's your table, but don't be so creative that you create problems for yourself. So here's some of the problems. Okay, and so horizontal tables are terrible. Okay. So in this case, this person's putting the date and the data horizontally across the table. Same down here. You know, you have the dates and you've got the data. And I mean, you could make it work, but it's not convenient. It's better to have your data go in columns. Okay. Also, it's good to have good information on here. So here's the person. They've got the subject. This is their dog. It's a beagle, Sonny Bailey, 3 years old. Every 8 in the morning, they would, or 8 p.m., they would play with the dog and record how long it took them to get tired of playing fetch with this little toy. And so it says living room, and the toy was the bark item 212399. Anyway, they have very specific information. So be specific about your data, where you get the data, like if you get it off a website, if you're doing a financial thing, or your Fitbit, or your Apple Watch, or whatever. Be specific about the source of your data, and also the procedure of how you collect it, because that's going to go into your report, the procedure for how you collect it, and if you do anything to the data, like take the daily difference, or if you convert it from hours, minutes, seconds to seconds, or even like fractions of days. You could do fractions of days if you have 5 decimal places. I think yours was in days, minutes, hours, or something like that. So if you take that time stamp and convert it from like a time deal to a decimal place, that's okay. As long as we have multiple decimal places that we can show continuous data, not discrete data. Okay. So horizontal tables create problems. Also, this formula is wrong. It is a difference, but notice how up there it's 475.86 is the current day, January 23rd, and the previous day was 475.26. So it should be positive. If it's today minus yesterday, today's bigger than yesterday. And yet I've got a negative sign. And so that's telling me that formula is written in backwards, okay? So you've got to make sure it's today minus yesterday. And then when you're writing this out grammatically in English, you would say in this case, it looks like price. So yesterday's price was subtracted from today's. You're taking it away from today's. A lot of people will say it backwards. They'll say today's price was subtracted from yesterday's price. No, that's reversed. Okay, so this is the formula, and the phrase you use is yesterday's price was subtracted from today's price, or today's price subtracted yesterday's price. Yeah. Okay, so the variables also should be single if you're writing in your report. And you say like in the dog example, playtime. So be tempted to put PT. Well, mathematically that looks like P times T. So we want to have single letter variables, and you can do as many subscripts as you want, but single letter variables are the standard, because if you write variables next to each other, the implication is they're multiplied by each other. So PT looks like P times T. All right, so this is why it's price today, price yesterday. So P is the variable, and you can have subscripts. Okay. Also, this is good comments. This person has comments in here about what they were eating for breakfast and grams of sugar and so on. So they had good comments for themselves, and that's always nice. Okay, and then their daily change is way over here, and their date is way over here. So for convenience in charting, it's good to have that column right next to the date column. So when you do the chart, you just select both those columns and chart it. If you've got one column way over there, you can still do it again, but it's not very convenient. And so you can make it convenient for yourself. You can have your data collected here and just do the difference to the left of it. And that would be fine. That would be a convenient way to do it. So up here, this is a nice chart. It's nicely formatted without being too crazy, multiple colors and all kinds of stuff. You don't have to do all of that. It's your page, but but you don't have to go overboard with all of the fanciness. And notice how they've got a nice little gray box and a note that says first day, nothing to subtract. So then they start calculating the difference on the second day and so on. If any of this raises a question, just raise your hand. And then there's another data formatting mistake. This person has the formula incorrectly, entered correctly, but notice how they have the daily difference on the first row of -3, and it's really, what they're doing is they're doing tomorrow minus today. So it matters where you put the difference. So you put the difference that you're calculating on today's cell and you're subtracting the cell above it. So it's today minus yesterday. So that's what you want to do. So you should have probably a gap of one row on your daily change column. And then this is a disaster. This person put letters in their text in with their data. And so you can't plot that. If they sent me their control page that said, how come my chart won't chart anything? And I looked and their data had text. It was a mixture of numbers and text. And so the chart didn't know what to do with that. So I always put the units in the heading. And so they would put time, divide mark. So this is how you do it. You would put up here time, divided by minutes, okay? Now, why is it divide? Well, this is the time, and if I were to divide the time by minutes, the minutes cancel, and that cell would just contain 522. So it is actually the heading. You should be able to put that cell equal to the heading, and you're saying, okay, this is time divided by minutes. The number in minutes is divided by minutes, so the units cancel, and you just have the number in that cell. So that's why we put that slash there in our headings. Okay. And then skip the weekends. Look what this person did. They said, well, I don't have any data for the weekends, so I'm going to just put zeros in. And so by putting zeros in, trying to sneeze. Where's my finking pen? Okay, here they put a zeros in here. And so then Saturday minus Friday shows this huge thing. And then they get to Monday minus Sunday, and they get this huge thing. So every weekend, they've got this enormous jump, okay, when there's no data on the weekends. And so also, they're lying. What's the lie? No. Yeah, the stock price is zero. They didn't measure zero. They're just putting zero in. That's not true. So someone looks at their data, they're like, wow, look at all these zeros. You know, did the data indicate that? No, they just put that in. So it's not a malicious lie, but essentially they're misleading people by putting in data that's not actually real. So we don't want to do that. So the answer to that is just don't put the weekends in your table if you're collecting weekly data. Like if you're doing stocks, they only trade on the weekdays, the business days. So don't even collect data on Saturday and Sunday. And so then your difference is just Monday minus Friday. So that's the previous price. And so you just subtract it. So just don't even include that. Okay, so that's our control chart data tips. Is there anything? Yes. Yeah. Yeah, just put it. Yeah, that'd be great. If it's something you do every day, or if it's a weather thing, yeah, you just keep doing the weekends. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that'd be fine. Others? Okay, good.